A cheap quartz movement can cost around $38, yet some brands put it inside a watch case and sell the whole thing for $2,500. And the crazy part? Sometimes the brand spends more on one magazine ad than it does making the watch on your wrist. So if you already own a luxury watch, or you are planning to buy one, this matters. Because some of the most popular luxury watch brands are massively overpriced. At the same time, a few other brands offer much better value, and the watch industry would rather you never notice. This is not just a personal opinion. Over the past year, I looked into watch movements, checked factory cost estimates from places like Shenzhen and La Chaux de Fonds, and spoke with independent watchmakers who repair these brands regularly. These are people who see what is really inside the watch, not just the polished image shown in ads. And the difference between what you pay and what you actually get can be shocking. In some cases, the profit margins are over 90%. Some brands charge thousands of dollars for watches powered by movements that may cost them less than a nice dinner. So where does all that extra money go? Not mainly into craftsmanship, not mainly into heritage. A lot of it goes into advertising, expensive retail stores, and brand image. In many cases, you are not paying for watchmaking. You are paying for the logo and the status that comes with it. In this breakdown, we are exposing 5 brands that charge far more than they should. I'll name them, explain the numbers, and show you which brands deserve your trust and which ones are mostly selling hype. Let's start with the first 5 brands that drain your wallet. Number 5. Movado Movado built its identity around one famous design feature: the single dot on the dial of the museum watch. Yes, it is iconic. But iconic design does not automatically mean good value. Many of their popular quartz watches sell for around $400 to $800. The movement inside is often a standard Swiss Ronda quartz movement, which can cost only about $6 to $12 from suppliers. The cases are usually basic stainless steel, and many models under $600 use mineral crystal instead of sapphire. Based on watch teardown estimates, the total production cost of many Movado models may only be around $40 to $60. So, what are you really paying for? Not the materials, not the movement. You are paying for the design, the department store display, the marketing, and the brand name. Movado Group reportedly spends around $800 million a year on advertising. That money has to come from somewhere. It comes from the customer. Number 4. Hublot. This will annoy some people. Hublot presents itself as bold, modern, and high-end. Their Big Bang models often start at around $12,000. The issue is that, until fairly recently, much of their lineup used base Sellita movements like the SW300, which is similar to the ETA 2892. Those movements may cost only around $50 to $80 wholesale. That is a huge gap between cost and selling price. To be fair, Hublot has expanded the use of its in-house Unico movement, and that is a serious movement. But many Hublot watches still use sourced movements with custom rotors and upgraded finishing to appear more exclusive. Even the brand's signature rubber straps may cost only around $8 to $15 to produce. What really drives Hublot is not just watchmaking, it is visibility. Statoil, FIFA, Formula One, celebrity partnerships, and luxury lifestyle marketing are central to the brand. So when you buy a Hublot, a large part of what you are paying for is image and promotion. Number 3. Tag Heuer. This one is disappointing, because Tag Heuer once had a stronger identity in true motorsport chronographs. Before the late 1990s, Heuer had a serious reputation, but after the LVMH acquisition, the company shifted more toward volume and profit. Many Aqua Racer and Formula One models sell between $800 and $2,000. A large number of them use standard Sellita-based movements. There is nothing wrong with Sellita movements. They are reliable and proven, but the problem is pricing. When another brand like Tissot can offer a similar caliber for far less, the value argument becomes weak. On top of that, secondary market data suggests Tag Heuer watches often lose 40 to 55% of their value soon after purchase. That means the watch may feel prestigious at retail, but financially it drops fast. So in many cases, you are paying more for branding than for substance. Number 2. Shinola built a strong image around the idea of Detroit-made craftsmanship. It successfully sold a story of American manufacturing, authenticity, and heritage. That story was powerful. But the question is whether the watches themselves justify the prices. A lot of the appeal came from branding, storytelling, and lifestyle positioning, rather than exceptional watchmaking. The product often felt more premium in marketing than in actual mechanical value. Here's the reality the FTC already flagged them for. Shinola was hit with a complaint because their built-in Detroit claim was misleading. The movements are Swiss-made argon or Ronda quartz units imported and assembled, not manufactured in Michigan. Their Runwell retails around $600 to $750. The movement inside costs an estimated $8 to $15. The case and sapphire crystal, manufactured overseas. What happens in Detroit is essentially assembly and quality check. For $750, you're getting a watch that independent assessments put at roughly $60 to $80 in total component cost. The rest is the story. The narrative of American revitalization. And look, it's a nice story. But stories shouldn't cost you a 700% markup. And number 1, the brand I see robbing people the hardest, Daniel Wellington. At this point, it's almost too easy, but the numbers are so staggering they can't be ignored. Daniel Wellington built a billion-dollar company on Instagram influencer marketing and a watch that costs, based on multiple teardown analyses, approximately $2 to $4 in materials, a Miyota quartz movement, a minimal dial, a NATO or leather strap sourced from bulk Chinese suppliers. Retail price, $150 to $229. The markup on a Daniel Wellington is estimated at over 1,000% in some cases. Their annual influencer budget dwarfs anything they spend on product development. There is no heritage. There's no in-house movement. The Daniel Wellington name is fictional. It's not a founder, it's a marketing construct. If you've ever bought one, I'm not judging you. The marketing was effective. But now you know, these are the kind of truths that brands spend millions making sure you never hear. If this is the kind of breakdown that actually helps you spend smarter, hit subscribe. We pull back the curtain on industry secrets every single week. Now, here's where this gets good. Because for every brand exploiting your trust, there are watchmakers doing the exact opposite. Brands, where the money actually goes into the thing on your wrist. 5 watches that are genuinely, provably worth what you pay. Number 5 on the worth it list. Orient. Owned by Seiko Epson, Orient manufactures in-house automatic movements at price points that make the rest of the industry look predatory. Their Bambino dress watch retails for around $150. Inside, a Caliber F6 Sephir Natuntu. Their own movement, not sourced, not rebadged. Designed, produced, and assembled in-house. The finishing on these dials at this price point shouldn't exist. According to enthusiast forums like WatchUseek, the Bambino consistently ranks as the single best value in automatic watchmaking under $200. That's not marketing. That's consensus from people who own dozens of watches and still reach for this one. Number 4. Tissot, specifically the PRX Powermatic 80. Tissot sits inside the Swatch Group, which means they have access to the same supply chain as Omega and Longines. Their Powermatic 80 movement delivers an 80-hour power reserve, a specification usually reserved for watches north of $2,000. And you're getting it at $350 to $650. Sapphire crystal. Exhibition caseback. Swiss-made. In the way that actually means something. Based on watch charts data, the PRX holds its resale value significantly better than competitors at twice the price. Tissot isn't trying to convince you they're luxury. They're just quietly building better watches than brands charging 3 times more. Number 3. Sinn. A German watchmaker based in Frankfurt that most people outside the enthusiast world have never heard of. And that's exactly why they can offer what they offer. Sinn doesn't spend on celebrities. They don't sponsor yacht races. What they do spend on is engineering. Their 556 series features proprietary technologies like tegiment hardening, a process that makes the steel case virtually scratch-proof, and our dehumidifying gas that prevents fogging. These are technologies developed in-house for professional dive and pilot applications. Retail around $1,300. Independent watchmakers I've spoken to consistently say the same thing. When a SIN comes across their bench, the build quality inside exceeds what they typically see at 2 to 3 times the price. There's no logo tax here. Every dollar is in the engineering. Number 2. Tudor. Yes, Tudor is owned by Rolex. But here's what makes them remarkable. Tudor gets access to Rolex's supply chain, quality control standards, and even shares some case manufacturing, while pricing their watches between $1,500 and $4,000. Their in-house MT5602 movement is COSC certified, runs a 70-hour power reserve, and is built to specs that rival anything in the Rolex catalog at a fraction of the cost. According to secondary market data from Chrono24, Tudor Black Bay models retain between 70 and 85% of retail value over 3 years. That's resale performance that most luxury brands can only dream about. Tudor is, functionally, the best of Rolex without the waitlist markup, and the horological community knows it. And number 1, the brand I believe delivers the most value in watchmaking today, Grand Seiko. This is where the conversation changes entirely. Grand Seiko manufactures everything in-house: movements, cases, dials, hands, even their own hairsprings, which only a handful of manufacturers on Earth can claim. Their spring drive technology, a hybrid system that's neither fully mechanical nor quartz, is a proprietary invention that no other brand has replicated. Their snowflake dial, the SBGA 2111, retails around $5,600. At that price, you're getting hand-finished movement components polished to a standard called Zaratsu, a technique that creates a perfectly distortion-free mirror surface. Independent horological assessments, including those from Watchfinder, Hodinkee, and Japanese collector communities, consistently place Grand Seiko's finishing quality on par with Patek Philippe and Audemars Piguet, brands charging 5 to 20 times more. The math isn't even close. Grand Seiko is arguably the most underpriced serious watchmaker on the planet. Here's what all of this comes down to. The watch industry, like most luxury industries, has trained you to shop with your eyes and your ego instead of your brain. They've conditioned you to believe that a higher price means higher quality, that a recognizable logo means trustworthy engineering, that Swiss made on a dial is a guarantee of substance. It's not. Not anymore. Some of the worst values in watchmaking carry the most prestigious addresses. And some of the finest engineering in the world comes from brands that couldn't afford a Super Bowl commercial if they wanted one. The pattern is consistent across every brand we looked at. The ones robbing you spend more on telling you they're good than on actually being good. The ones worth your money do the opposite. They pour the investment into the product and let the watch speak for itself. So here's your cheat sheet going forward. First, always look up the movement inside a watch before you buy. If a brand won't tell you, that's your answer. Second, check the resale value. If a watch loses 50% the moment you swipe your card, you're not buying value. You're renting a logo. Third, ignore influencer endorsements entirely. A paid post tells you nothing about the product and everything about the marketing budget. Fourth, visit enthusiast forums. Reddit's R, Watches, Watch You Seek, Omega forums. These communities have no incentive to lie to you. The information is free, and it's better than anything a brand ambassador will ever tell you. And fifth, ask yourself one question before every purchase. Am I paying for the watch, or am I paying for the story someone told me about the watch? The brands that deserve your money aren't afraid of that question. They welcome it. Because when you look under the caseback, the answer is obvious. Drop which brand shocked you the most in the comments. I genuinely want to know. Was it one you own? Was it one you were about to buy? Either way, you just saved yourself from making a decision you'd regret. If you want more breakdowns like this, where we follow the money and expose what the industry hides, subscribe and turn on notifications. The next one is going to be even more uncomfortable for some very big names.